Hey, what's up guys? Shinobi here with another Reaper of Souls video for you. Today I'm talking about the Barbarian. Now as you know, the Barbarian has gotten the nerf with the whole whirlwind not being what it used to be and all that kind of stuff. A lot of people are thinking, wow, Barbarian's probably going to be the least played class in Reaper of Souls, which may be the case because a lot of people are going to switch over to the Crusader instead of that. I know that I'm having a lot of fun with the Crusader, even though they have put a little bit of nerfs out on them recently. But today I'm talking about the Barbarian and this spec that I've been playing with, and it's just so much fun. And the thing that's so great about this spec is that it's easy to use, it's really fun, and the third part is that you can pretty much do a lot of different variations with this spec as long as you're using some of the, main factors in the spec on what it is that you need to do, and that's all you really need to worry about is some of those main factors. Now this is called the Bloodshed spec, at least that's what I'm calling it, and it really just goes on the fact that you're doing a lot of bleed damage, and when things die they explode and kill other things around them, and you do a lot of burst damage, especially with the gear that I have right now. It's not amazing. I'm using a two-hander, which the two-hander is something that's nice, definitely with something like Rend. We've used Rend in the past. Rend has always been something really awesome, but it works really well with the spec because every time you're critting, the way that it works is you have Battle Rage with the new thing called Bloodshed, and Bloodshed critical hits will explode and deal 20% of that damage to monsters around them in that area. So when you use something like Rend, you Rend, say, 10 guys around you, and it's going to tick, tick, tick. And if you have a high crit chance, it's going to be blowing up like crazy and doing lots of AoE damage around you. And it's really going to help out a lot too. And one problem that I found with the Barbarian with using it with other specs is that you're really starved for your amount of Fury that you get. The great thing with this spec is you always have Fury. You have great ways of building up your Fury, like with Overpower. I'm going to go into the spec and show you exactly what it is that goes into it, but I've been playing this on the stream, having a lot of fun with it. I've been able to use the spec to do Ubers, like the new Ubers that's out. I'm going to be making a video about that shortly, and yeah, and you can use this spec for kind of like the AoE type spec. You can also switch it up and do like the Hoda specs. You have like the single target, especially with Hoda. When you crit with a Hoda, doing an extra 20% of that to things around you, it's just massive damage all the way around you, and it can be very explosive. So let's go ahead and get into the spec right now. So let me switch it to here. Alright, so here we are, we're in town right here. This is what my character looks like right now. I went with the red just for the whole bloodshed about this. This is the gear that I have, only about 560k damage. You imagine if I had like 1.5 million damage or 2 million damage, I'd be able to do like high torments, torment 3, torment 4, stuff like that. Pretty easily. I can do Torment 1 pretty easily with this, but for the video I was just showing you just some of the stuff to expect there. Don't really have a crazy amount of toughness or anything. This is the weapon that I did find, and is the Stalgard's Decimator. Now this one gives you tons of strength on it, has crit damage on it, which is great, and also got the socket on there. I think I haven't re-rolled anything on it yet, but I can actually get higher damage on the items, so it'd be even better. As soon as I get some materials to do that, I'll definitely be doing that. So that's what I've been noticing with this. It also has your melee attacks throw a pierce axe nearby. You'll see that like in the clips, and you saw this explosion of fire that came out from everywhere. Well, that's the new Hellfire ring. I'm gonna make a video talking about more about that too. I'm trying to re-roll the average damage to get crit chance on there, and this will be really awesome if I could do that. I would have re-rolled the resistance, but the other stat that was on there before, I think it was like armor or something like that, so I got rid of the armor and got average damage, and then I wanted, yeah, so that's pretty much what I did. And the fire thing is just so cool, the explosion that goes around. But let's talk about the spec now. You saw some of the gear. Now let's take a look at how it goes. So this is the Battle Rage Bloodshed here. Critical hits cause an explosion, dealing 20% of that damage to all other enemies nearby. So that's where you get that explosion there, especially when using like Rend. It's just like you tick tick explode, tick tick explode, and that's on each guy. So and it just keeps exploding, exploding, exploding. And I'll show you how it even counteracts and just kind of turns in kind of like a pestilence effect, like with a witch doctor. And I'm able to go in to Fields of Misery and just run around and just just grab the entire map and just kill things off so easily. Also using overpower here with momentum. Now this is really great too. You generate 8 fury for each enemy hit by this, so you pretty much go from almost no fury to like max fury, and that enables you to keep rending over and over and over again, and definitely a really fun thing. Now one reason why the Whirlwind spec was so great is from the mobility of the spec. You could, you know, you could farm much more efficient than other classes could solo because you had that mobility. You could kill things quickly and you could move really quickly. So what I want to use here is sprint. Now this is something you could switch out. You could try other things if you wanted to. But I'm just going with the marathon one to give me just more movement speed for a longer duration, so I can keep moving quickly, run to another pack, run to another pack, just keep going, and it just ticks away and keeps exploding. I'm using Wrath of the Berserker here with Insanity just for that increased damage, 60% increased damage, just for some nice burst damage, especially when you come up to an elite pack or a boss or something like that. It's going to help you out a lot. Now you could switch out the Insanity here if you wanted to, and go for something that I think would follow the build quite well, which is Slaughter. When active critical hits have a chance to cause an eruption of blood for 300% weapon damage. So what you pretty much is you would crit when you have this on. Say you're trying to down like a bunch of elite packs that are around you. If you use Slaughter instead of Insanity, what would happen you would just get all these explosions, and then on top of that, because you're critting because of this and everything like that, you're just getting more hits in. It goes so well with the Bloodshed. They kind of just work together well. So you could do that if you wanted to, but you know, just mess around with it, see what you want to do. And as you can see, the Thrive on Chaos is different now. Well active, you get 4126 life per fury spent, something that I might mess around with in the future, maybe a survival build or something like that. But that's what I'm using for now. Now Frenzy, you don't have to use Frenzy. I use this for single target. Sometimes I will use actually Cleave and go with the Cleave one that gives me a lot of fury, because, you know, just to keep that fury up even when you're waiting for overpower, just so you can just use Ren more and more often. But that's also another thing you can switch out in the build too. The main factors in this build are the Bloodshed from the Battle Rage and the overpower. Other than that, I mean, just go crazy and figure out other things you want to do, and maybe come up with a more dynamic spec for you if you want. And then also, finally, we have Rend with Bloodbath, Bloodshed spec. It just goes together so well. I just love it. And you can see here, enemies killed while bleeding, causing enemies within 10 yards to bleed for 925% weapon damage, which is a lot for over 5 seconds. So what would happen in this situation? You run up, you rend something, you rend, say, 10 guys around you, and then like ticks and ticks, and then explodes, all these explosions because, you know, all these crits that are going on. And on top of that, when they die, it's going to spread to the other monsters around them. Those are going to tick. It's just like a chain reaction, and which makes the spec so fun. Now, instead of Rend, you could use something like Coda if you're going for a more single target, for more burst damage on the single targets. But overall, the spec is really awesome. Some of the passives that I'm using is Weapon Master. I'm using swords so I get 8% increased damage. You know, axe and mace would be nice too if I get a nice two-hand axe or mace. Crit chance would be sweet on that too. Brawler, because you're always going to have guys around you. It's just an AoE spec, right? A Rampage was really great. You're killing things constantly, so every time you kill something, after killing or assisting to kill an enemy, you can stack this up. It stacks up to 25 times, so you get an extra 25% more strength, which is just great. Now, Unforgiving, you don't have to use this, but I'm currently using it right now just to mess around with. You no longer degenerate Fury anymore, so instead you're gonna generate Fury every second. So if you have, like, say, a down point where you need to sprint constantly and there's no monsters in your area, this is going to help you to keep sprinting and sprinting and sprinting to get to an area where there are monsters. So that's something you could do. You know, mess around with some of the passives as well too. When this game goes live, I can see this definitely being a viable spec, especially with better gear. Just really good spec. It makes me not miss the Whirlwind spec quite as much, which is something I really like about it. So that's pretty much it, guys. What did you guys think of the spec? There's a lot more stuff coming out. You know, personally, when I first got into this and first got into Reaper of Souls, I was really dreading playing the Barb because I figured there was no viable things to do with the Barb anymore. You know, they nerfed the hell out of it, and usually Blizzard likes to do that. They'll nerf something like crazy, and then it's just not fun to play anymore. But this is a pretty fun way to do stuff. So, you know, when the game does come out, hopefully you guys will enjoy this, and, you know, I'll definitely be checking this out in the future in Reaper of Souls. So, anyways, something you can use from 60 to 70 to help you get quickly up there, completing things, doing a lot of AoE. And if you need to, like I said, if you need that single target, you can always switch out. Say you're like trying to kill a bunch of trash mobs and stuff, and you're about to do a boss, and you could, you know, switch out on the fly and get the Hoda or something like that, so you can kill a boss really quickly. And I was able to use this spec to do all the Ubers bosses, like I said, and it was very easy. And you know, if you could do Ubers bosses with this spec, then it's a pretty nice spec. And I was soloing that stuff. So, anyways, thanks for checking out the video, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. Make sure you hit the like button. Check out the live streaming every single day. Links are all down below: Facebook, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. Support the channel. Hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about it. And I'll see you next time. Anyways, I'm Shinobi, and thanks for watching.